Over 30 years ago, Super Bowl 27 was supposed to be played in Arizona. However, the game got moved from Arizona to Pasadena when the state refused to recognize Martin Luther King Day as a national holiday. And you thought that this would be the last time that there would be a controversy on MLK Day involving the NFL playoffs. Well, man, do I have news for you. Welcome everybody to JG90s, where we talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jared, and I'm representing the 904 from the 602. And today, we are talking about the big news that happened, a playoff game getting moved to a different date. The Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they were supposed to play today at 1 o'clock Eastern. Instead, that game is getting moved now to Monday at 4:30 Eastern on Martin Luther King Day, meaning that you have a doubleheader taking place that day. CBS has the first game with the Bills Steelers. Nothing changes there in terms of the network televising it, but now that game is 4:30, and then you got the Eagles Buccaneers game at 8:15 later that night. Now, this is not the first time the NFL has moved a playoff game for weather-related reasons. You might remember back in the 2016 divisional round, something happened also involving the Steelers. There was an ice storm taking place in the game between the Steelers and the Chiefs in the divisional round. It was unsafe to drive, unsafe weather conditions. The game was supposed to be played at 1 o'clock. Instead, they moved it to prime time on Sunday Night Football. They changed the time of that game. This time they're changing the date. This is the first time I've ever changed a date of a playoff game, moving it from Sunday to Monday. And I know it stings for a lot of fans, especially if you have to work that day. But at the end of the day, this is the right call. This is a matter of safety. Safety comes first and foremost. If you play the game, people will be unable to get to the game. You got cars that would be stalled and being buried in the snow in the lot. Emergency services would be used for a football game, and they should never come at the expense of a game. This is a life or death matter. That's what it comes down to. This is a life or death matter. You can't say that there should be a travel ban, as a travel ban has been issued. You can't say that people shouldn't be driving in this and then play the game. That would just be wholly irresponsible, because you know people would do anything in their power to get to that game, even if it's completely unsafe to be on the roads. Now, this is very different from the Chiefs-Dolphins game. Some people were saying, move the Chiefs-Dolphins game. You're moving the Bills-Steelers game because of this, but you're not moving Chiefs-Dolphins? Well, Chiefs-Dolphins was a matter of cold. It's not dangerous to drive it. You can drive in the cold. Plus, moving the game, Chiefs-Dolphins, would not have made any difference weather-wise. You move the game to a different day, all right, you're moving from a high of -4 to a high of 4 degrees. This is a matter of life or death. This is a matter of the roads are not going to be able to be cleared. This is a matter of it's unsafe to be out there. It's like saying, why can't you play a game in a little bit of rain when there's a hurricane? Like, you're vastly underestimating how severe this whole situation is. People will die and get into wrecks if you play the game at this time. Especially because you have to remember that, unfortunately, it's a sad reality, but people do drink at football games, and the last thing you need is drunk drivers on the road in a blizzard. The last thing we need emergency services to be doing is rescuing people who should not be on the road. The only people on the road during a blizzard like this should be essential workers trying to clear the roads or going to hospitals or stuff like that. You should not be on the road in conditions like this. I've lived in New York for a long period of time. Trust me, it's bad weather. It's bad weather. Against like this, you don't want to be out there. This is the right call. This is the right call because, again, emergency services, you don't want them to be used for a football game. You want them to be used for more important things in the grand scheme of life. And if you need any further indication of just how bad it is out there in Buffalo, you can't drive in this. You cannot have 70,000 people going to a football game in this weather, clogging up the roads. That would just be irresponsible. There's a reason the travel ban is in place. There's a reason that this is very different from the Chiefs-Dolphins situation. You can drive in the Chiefs-Dolphins weather. You can't drive in this. People will die in this weather if you drive in it. It is blatantly unsafe to be on the road here unless you absolutely have to be on the road. And you don't have to be on the road for a football game. I can tell you that much. Now, I do wonder what would have happened if MLK Day was not this Monday. What if New Year's Day was January 1st, the Tuesday, not Monday, and this was not the third Monday of the month? What would have happened then? Because then this Monday is not a holiday. They wouldn't play two playoff games at the same time. They haven't done that since 1982, so they're not going to do a Monday night doubleheader in that regard because ESPN and ABC would be fuming at that, and understandably so. They got very lucky with the schedule that this is the second Monday of the month, and they can play this on a holiday. And yes, some people will be impacted by this in terms of working, but there are a lot of people in government positions that do get off because this is a federal holiday. Now, schedule-wise, what this means going forward, you're not going to have the winner of this game. Now they're playing on Monday. You're not going to have them play Saturday. So if the Steelers win this game, you can expect them to play the Ravens on Sunday. Or if the Bills win this game, you can expect them to play the Chiefs on Sunday. They're not going to play Saturday. They're just not going to play Saturday. You can pencil in, if you're a Texans fan, you can pencil in the fact that either way, whether you're playing the Chiefs or you're playing the Ravens, you're going to play Saturday. You can pencil that in right now if you're a Texans fan. If you're wondering how this impacts you, pencil in the Texans for Saturday. You can be very confident the Texans will not play Sunday. So pencil in for Saturday. if you are a Texan fan, you're trying to make plans for the divisional round. So just something to keep in mind. But they made the right call here. Again, you don't want emergency services being used for a football game. You want people staying in. You want people to honor the travel ban. You do not want people on the roads in this weather. It's very dangerous. It's a life or death matter. It's not just a matter of being freezing cold. It's a matter of life or death, being on the roads and being stranded out there in a blizzard-like condition. But what are your thoughts? Do you think the NFL made the right call with moving this game? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And that's going to do it for this episode of JJ9 News. Be sure you like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check out my main channel, Jarragher9, where we talk all things NFL history all the time. Until next time, this is Jarragher9 signing off. And as always, go Jags.